What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and this is iRacing IndyCar Oval Fixed Series from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where today we got a 50-lap race, which will necessitate the need for a pit stop, starting in 20th position, because skipping qualifying is fun sometimes. Yeah, this first stint is done from the replay, post-commentated. My neighbor next door was mowing the yard, and therefore the commentary was garbage, and we're getting ready to go, and green flag. Turn 1, lap 1, Indianapolis, always looking to just kind of filter down and survive. That's all you want to do, just survive. A little difficult corner. It's even more difficult when cars are spinning and wrecking and flying through the air because iRacing physics and stuff like that. But I just want to go ahead and rant on that because I ranted in the actual commentary itself. iRacing, fix your caution logic, for crying out loud. Like, I was to the wreck by the time the yellow flag actually came out. And you might say, hey, there's a wreck on screen. You slow down for it. Duh, right? Not necessarily, because what ends up happening is sometimes there's not a yellow flag mysteriously. I mean, there's a car in the fence upside down. There's 2 cars up there. A third one, I think, joined the fray. Yeah, in the real world, there would definitely be a caution so you could slow down. iRacing, not so much. So, yeah, you're just kind of managing the gap behind you. Looking in the mirror, seeing where you can slow down, trying to position the car, trying to not run over the guy in front of you, and it's all could be fixed by having much better, much more consistent caution logic that was more willing to throw yellow flags for stuff that quite clearly should have a yellow flag, such as a car upside down in the fence and 2 cars skidding along the wall. Anyways, that's just my rant for the day. On to the rest of the video and the green flag. Alright, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing, starting here in 14th position. A couple laps behind the pace car there.
Green flag, green flag.
And we got some shenanigans going on here. Where to go? Discretion's the better part of valor.
Inside. I love you, man. Keep high. Clear inside. Car inside.
Alright, we'll hang tough on the outside here. Use a little slipstream.
You're in the middle. 3 wide. Inside. 2 wide. Still there.
Nope. Didn't feel any contact. So I'm hoping that was just a ghost netcode 0x with no damage. Doesn't take much to ruin your race.
Just keep hitting your mark. Car outside.
Right.
Still there.
Poorly timed run.
Still there.
Should have been able to blast by that guy with ease.
Clear outside.
It's been out of sim racing for a while and a little bit of rust, misjudging things. Got guys in the wall behind us.
The yellow flag is out. Line
Here's
up,
the yellow.
single file. Pit road is
Once again.
closed.
Yeah. Oh, man. But I feel like there's few enough cars behind us that we might actually end up just making a pit stop just to have extra fuel in the tank. Because this lap at 50 laps long could end up necessitating the need for a pit stop. Well, actually, you will need to make a pit stop for sure, unless we get so many cautions that it's not going to matter anyways. But
17, car.
having that extra fuel definitely gives you an extra heap. And these guys just are absolute flipping clowns. I mean, this is already the second wreck of the race. We're on lap 8, and we can't form up in a proper, speedy, expeditious fashion.
Attach the 17,
So
car.
I'm going to go ahead and skip to the pit stop or the green flag, whichever one happens first. Alright, we're going to go for it. Could be a terrible idea. Could be a great idea. Depends on how many positions we're going to end up losing, because I know I can pass these guys at the back of the field pretty much without too terribly much hassle. So having the extra tires, even though it's not really a huge deal, as well as, more importantly, the extra fuel. So, onto the green flag. Alright, we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. We're up to 14th position. Somebody made a pit stop, and they'll update as we cross the line.
The pace car is in.
So we lost 3 positions on the road, although only 2 positions in the standings.
Green flag, green flag.
But we do have 3 extra gallons of fuel versus the field, as well as fresh tires, although not significantly important at this stage. Hopefully the guy in front of me didn't actually hit the wall.
Outside. Stay low. There's a car on the high
Got a
side.
bit of a block pass there, but I wanted to get by because I knew I had the advantage at this point. Strike while the iron is hot. But that 3 gallons of fuel should end up coming in our favor, either from being able to run longer and that being an ideal strategy, or alternatively simply having a shorter pit stop. Because here in the IndyCar, the fuel does take longer than the tires by design, which means that the less fuel you take on, the less you're going to be sitting there. Although I'm not liking the fact this guy is blinking like crazy and shifting all over the place. How do the people with the crappiest connections have to race the fastest car that is most susceptible to netcode? Why you gotta do that, man?
Car inside. Still there. Hold your line. Still there. Stay high. Clear.
You know it! You know it! Not be an empty box video without one outside pass, right? Now we got our front blinky up here. Although I have to say, the fixed setup here, just junk. Just J-U-N-K, junk, junk, junk. And yeah, it's the same for everybody, but at the same time, I mean, this thing is just a dump truck. It plows all over the place. It is garbage. I honestly don't think I've done this much lifting here at Indy in this car for a very long time. That's how understeery the setup is. It's like you can flat foot it, but at the same time, to flat foot it and really get that speed, you're just cranking so much wheel into it that you're scrubbing off that advantage anyways, as well as burning that right front off. Too high, too high. Really got to run turn 2 really low. I know it's one of those things where, you know, if you're not familiar, you might look at this and be like, oh, hey, there's just 4 simple left-hand turns, 90 degrees apiece. They're all exactly the same. No, they're all entirely incredibly different. Like, legitimately different. Too shallow. When you try and run that low line, the Carlos Munoz line, you end up pinching it on exit, especially with this car having so much understeer dialed into it with the setup. It really becomes a problem. You really run out of room on exit. Gotta be careful approaching Blinky here. I did the math once, and it turns out in like a tenth of a second, like you're going like 20 feet or something like that. So that's why the netcode is so problematic in this car. Just because of the speeds that you're doing. Well timed, well timed. Couple of freebies and the position. Although at this point, I think we're going to have to basically make our fuel stop and tires because the field's going to come down as well. So we'll be back on the same strategy. Didn't really do anything, but well, I guess. Actually, we might not be. So you're looking at 30 laps. 30 laps is on the cusp. It is on the cusp of making it. I think that's really the upper range if it goes green. But again, those extra 3 gallons, those are 3 fewer gallons that we'll have to fill up, add into the tank at this stage. Which the fuel isn't going to take too terribly much longer than the tires because they won't need a full fuel tank, but it should be an advantage for us.
Pit road is now open.
So let's see what we're going to get here. And again, there's already been a lot of cautions, you know. In the immortal words of Graham Rahal, you race with the squirrels, you're bound to get your nuts cracked. So, looks like everybody's coming in. Make sure we're filling up. And on the button, look for a lollipop guy, good entry. Where's he at? iRacing, please give us basic pit road rules. And of course, an incredibly poor pit entry. Because that's what I do. As I take a lollipop to the head. Let's see here.
Line up single file.
That was a mess. Over my left shoulder there. That was a hot garbage mess. Looks like we went in 10th. We came out in, well, I'm guessing it's probably 6th or 7th position. So, told you. On to the green flag. Alright, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. I just did the calculations under the pace laps. Yeah, just whipped out my phone and went to the calculator. Yeah, that's something you won't see on Sunday. Yeah, that's some serious shenaniganry right there. But 4.15 is what we need, and I was in the totally wrong gear there. But hey, it don't even matter anyways. Good old iRacing Indy fixed. Bunch of clowns. Bunch of clowns. Onto the green. Okay, let's get ready to go back to green flag racing here. Just crossed the halfway point, actually. Get the car in the right gear this time. Remember, we can pass to the right once the green comes out. That won't be an issue.
Green flag, green flag.
But we did get a pretty good launch.
Inside. Clear.
Keep our foot buried, let the longer path do the work. I'm going to look to make sure I didn't slide up in turn 2. So I can just never run that corner high. There we go.
Okay, we're halfway to the finish. Inside. Still there. Clear inside.
I get so much satisfaction out of it. It's so incredibly fun to pass people around the outside because everybody takes the inside defensive. And then you just like, sup. Just shoot their strategy full of holes. Works every time. 95% of the time at least.
You're in 4th position.
Not bad considering where we started. Not bad at all. Too big of a lift. Not mine for a long green flag run. So I've noticed from the races I've done this week, the races I've done this week, as well as my typical experience, generally tells me that I'm fairly good on tire management compared to some of the competition that you typically see here. It always seems like when there's a longer run, it helps me out. Just a quick check on that fuel number. The left line, or the leftmost column, the 4.41. That's our fuel mileage of 4.20. We needed 4.16. Plus we saved some on the caution fuel. Non-issue. No need to worry. See, the thing with the downforce is, as many of you guys will know, you get closer, it gets harder to pass. You just don't have the downforce on the nose, you don't have the grip. Nope, wall. Ow, my face. Concussion. That hurt. That was just poor driving right there. Nothing more, nothing less. Unforced error. Sloppy. Garbage. Mess. And now we're going to be damaged. We're down on speed. Car's driving fine through the corners from what I saw. I could feel. Might even have more downforce on the thing now because, yes, we're going slower, but that was like easy flat. Amazing how much easier the corners are when you're going, 10 miles an hour off the pace. But hopefully we can channel our inner Graham Rahal and keep a bunch of way faster cars behind us through magic and force field technology, otherwise known as aero push, and a narrow racetrack. So you can look at the display there. Bottom line, the 0.24 and clicking up, that's how we compare to our best lap of the race. You can just see it just keeps ticking up and up and up and up and up and up. And generally, your fast lap times aren't that much different in the draft than when you're running in clean air, because when you are running in the draft, in the slipstream, you have the aero push, as well as the fact that you're lifting and going into the corners even though you're going much faster. So we're really going to want to stay on the high side. I don't think this guy has the confidence on the inside. So we'll run low here. Hopefully give him some air. And by giving him some air, I mean some dirty air. Well, he's definitely got us now. He's too close. Nothing we can do about it unless he lifts big time in one. He full on cleared us. Ah! And the good old Michaela Lotion line there. Get as close as you can to the wall. No more, no less. Oh no! I don't think that's going to really do anything that hasn't already been done, but it did break our momentum. I'm keeping with this black car, because if we're in the slipstream, we could just stay close, keep in touch. Because we were fast enough in the corners that we can stay in the slipstream and not really lose anything.
Inside. Stay high. Stay high. Clear inside.
Have some dirty air. Nefarious tactics for the win. I knew I was going to clear him. I knew I was going to clear him. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. It does feel like there is much more downforce on this car. I know the fact we are running slower is going to make it feel like you're going through the corners easier, but it just... feels better. We're not sliding the tires. Who knows if this thing does go green. Certainly seems like we're not using too much tire. I'm not hearing a lot of scrubbing, not hearing a lot of skidding. This could actually maybe help us out. Well, we did lose a position, so we gotta get a position just to get our position to where we were in position. But all is not lost yet. Well, she is kind of starting to rotate around a little bit. That's what you'll typically get here in the IndyCar and iRacing. Once the fuel burns off and the tires start to get hot, the car will want to rotate a little bit more, which is nice. You gotta be careful. It's nice, smooth laps. Keep as much speed in it as you possibly can, because that's really all we can do. That, and make sure we give this guy a whole heap of aero push. So I don't think we're too terribly off the speed. But I mean, even 2 or 3 miles an hour down from where you were is a big deal when you spend so much time on the throttle. Looks like this guy behind me, he's starting to run lower to get more air on that left front wing.
You got 10 laps to go.
So let's see if we can make an effort to drive a little bit lower. Ooh, she's getting sketchy. Might not look like it, but when you hear the pitch in the tire squeal, just shift ever so slightly. That's when you know. It's starting to get to that point. Yeah, we're now out of touch. Even if we are saving tires, we're far too far back. Great English right there. Just move ever so slightly. That is what it is all about. If you want to know how you go faster on these ovals in the IndyCar, or really any car anywhere, it's all about how fast you move, how little you move. Honestly, I think one of the best real-world demonstrations of that, you can go ahead and watch videos on YouTube about, just look at Hinchcliffe's pole winning run during qualifying. Very little movement.
Clear inside. Clear.
Just that very little movement, and that gives you the position. You know, that gives you the speed. And in an open setup environment, that's when you can trim the car out a little bit more and be more aggressive with the setup, giving you more speed. So we'll see here. Hopefully we can hang on to our 5th position. Not the most exciting stuff in the world, but we know when that guy charges up here again where we're going. Anytime you're going too wide at Indy through the turns is pretty exciting in my book. There ain't a lot of space. But as for why I've been gone recently, because some people have asked about that, and I haven't really done any sort of explanation, and I really don't particularly care to. It's just online racing hasn't been as fun recently, or for a very long while. And part of that is every single time I go into a server, I get bombarded with, you know, people fangirling, which I don't understand. I get it, but I don't get it at all. You know, personal story here, you know, because I know some people are like, oh, you're our favorite, or we really like you. Like, I just randomly ran into my favorite YouTuber in a game of Battlefield once, and I was like, hey, that's cool, whatever. Like, there's no need to be crazy psychedelic fan. This guy's got a real good run. Come on, baby, stick.
You've got 5 laps to go. Stay high to the car on the
Stick,
low
baby.
side. Still there. Hold your line. Keep high. Clear inside.
Defense, defense.
Car inside. Clear inside.
She's getting skatey. She's getting real skatey. I'm surprised he didn't go to the outside. He should have went for an outside.
Stay high to the car on the low side. Clear inside. Inside. Keep high.
Too high, too high, too high. That's wall.
Clear inside.
That's wall. I blew it. And now at this point I'm stuck in the wall, so I really can't do anything, because if I try and steer left to get off the wall, I'm just going to end up sliding across the track. So there we go, we hit the safer barrier and we're off. Wait for clear space. We got clear space.
5 laps of fuel.
Would have been perfect on fuel. I just flat out blew it there. I turned in too late, got into the gray. There's not enough grip out there. If I would have ran a foot lower, I would have had that position, and I would have had it down the straightaway. Once again. That was my own fault. Nothing more, nothing less. I take the blame for putting myself in the wall because I put myself in the wall like a bozo. So don't put yourself in the wall. It's detrimental to your finishing position. And to top it off, we're too far forward. Interestingly enough, apparently this is considered acceptable car condition at Indianapolis in an IndyCar with your right front just shifted over 2 feet. Yeah, and we don't even have a rear side pod at this point, a right rear side pod. We just totally took that off. And I'm just going to basically sit here, and then I'll go out and do the ceremonial, lap, so that way we technically finish other than DNFing. And plus, if there's anybody out there, fire up! Let's go. Plus, that way, if there's any cars that are in position, I don't know. I'm just making things up. I want to do another lap with the car just totally destroyed, just to make fun of iRacing's damage model again. That's always fun. And plus, I gotta go recover my safety rating, guys. These extra 4 corners on my safety rating is gonna make all the difference, I tell you. Speed racer. 187 miles an hour on essentially 3 wheels. Seems legit.
Good job, Ben. Couldn't give up to you guys.
Ha ha! We got the checkers. 200 miles an hour on 3 wheels because iRacing. Yo. Because iRacing.
Bring it back to pits, we're going.
Yeah, I can understand why he's so dejected. I get it. We had a much better race there, but I mean, come on. We're doing a good job. I mean, we were off on speed and everything. We were just holding tough, being a madman on the outside. Yeah, you can.
I'm having trouble with.
You can see here the difference between making this corner and hitting the wall is 3 feet. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all it is. 3 feet, you get more grip, as well as if I had 3 feet of space on corner exit, I would have made the corner. But yeah, it's too high. I should have lifted out of it. I was just trying to make sure that I kept the position because hanging high on the outside was all we had at that point. And you can see I even did lift, but I mean at that point it's too late. If you're lifting at the apex from that position, you're done every single time. I mean, you can hear this guy, he's way out of it. He's doing 203. And I think he actually grabbed 4th. Let's listen here. Yeah, he grabbed 4th gear. So if I would have not smashed the wall, I would have had the position. And we would have been golden at that point, but disappointing. But again, hey, further proof, the high line doesn't suck. You just have to know what you're doing. Just simple as that. I think I passed like everybody on the high side. I was defending on the high side. Use the high side. Spread out on the track, for crying out loud. And don't just follow the same old path every single time when it makes no sense to do so. So, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Roll on the Carnage Report. Bye. Jeff Gordon paint scheme. And netcode. Lots of netcode. But Jeff Gordon paint scheme. And iRacing crash physics. iRacing crash physics make everything more fun. And here's a look at the other cars in that wreck and how they ended up there. I just want to point out something. Number 13 and a green car. My goodness, it was destined to happen. I mean, that's just double curse right there. Number 13, he just gets in the back of the black and silver car, which slowed down a little bit too much for his good, and 21 here just drives straight on in the wall for some unknown reason. I'm guessing target fixation. He was looking at the wreck instead of at the track, and he just drove right into it. Look where you want to go. Good tip. In advance, sorry for not having trading paints running right now. I just don't have enough space on my SSD. A replay-worthy hip check. In racing. Yeah, that's a thing. Just bonk. iRacing. The best way to view the underside of the Dallara DW12 IndyCar around. I don't know what that says, but it says something. Remember how I said I was just going to keep the car on the wall once I hit the wall? This is what not to do when you hit the wall. In other words, don't swerve and get off the racing surface. Yeah, that's what you should do. Yeah, he was always going to ricochet to the left coming out of 3 once he hit the wall because iRacing walls work like that. But yeah, from there on, yakety sacks, comedy of errors, all that jazz. Remember when I said you just steer right into the wall? This guy doesn't understand that. Just, your car's done. Your race is over. You just ate it at 200 miles an hour. Just stop. Please. That's why they put the Kardashians on him. That way you can bump the guy, spin him around, then launch off the front of the car. Right? Isn't that why they exist? I miss the static. The static was so much better than the black screen.